Hello, everybody. Welcome, Adventurers of Era. Welcome to Tavern Talk, the Golden Feather Tavern. We are TV and Vertec, keepers of this fine establishment. The Golden Feather Tavern is open to all travelers to come and share their thoughts on the inner workings of Era over a nice tankard of ale, mead, hot chocolate, or other delicious beverage of choice. So raise your glass, pull up a chair as we delve into tonight's discussions. Today is the 7th of February, 2024. We are on episode 005. Caravans and Nodes. Because we are not done talking caravans yet. It's some exciting stuff. But, Chibi, what do we have on tap for today?
Well, pretty much as you already said, Caravans and Nodes. Yep, pretty much it. This episode is open to our more established patrons who we have spent a great deal of time with, and we allow them to join into our voice chat via the Discord live stream queue to let us know that you are interested. But aside from that, those of you who are joining us as passing through travelers or people who have just come across us, new patrons, if you will, we always love to hear what you have to say here in chat. And as always, we can continue the discussion in Discord afterwards. So, if the topics of caravans and or nodes are of any interest to you, please feel free to jump right into the live stream queue, and we'd be happy to pull you in. Sometimes we don't see you right away, so mentioning that you are there and waiting does definitely help us in that sense. But also, if you like this kind of content, please consider giving us a like, a subscribe to our YouTube channel and here on Twitch if you would like, and make sure to hit the little notification bell if you like to see what we post when we go live. But with that, I kind of dropped the ball last week. I apologize. I did not create a question of the week last week. But I did want to kind of go into caravans. There's so much that we have not yet been able to discuss. So much. But some of these themes are talking about the caravan unpacking time, professional driving as a caravan driver, and then highwayman systems, as well as the caravan transition. So yeah. Any of those sound interesting to you?
Ooh, to me, all of the above, every bit of it. I suppose let's talk about that highwayman system.
Okay. So I felt like that was a good entry point because, well, technically the better entry point is the professional caravan driver, where Never said this is actually the same thing that he wanted to talk about, which is the highwayman system. And this was kind of a throwback. He had kind of left a comment on the other one saying that this is something he talked about a few years back in 2021, and was talking about having players' performance in caravan PvP, which is what the highwayman system tracks. This records successful or failed defenses and attacks, and provides rewards that scale up over time based on the player's history. I actually did not know that.
Yeah, based on whatever they're doing with the caravans and such.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just curious.
A 30 stream streak. Nice. Good job, Chappy.
Holy mackerel. Oh, wow, yeah, seriously.
That's a pretty high streak.
Indeed.
Yeah. What do you think of that? Your performance in general in caravan PvP being tracked.
I mean, I like it. I'm curious to see how it plays out, like what exactly the benefits are that you get out of it. Like, does it give you, say, a faster caravan if you're a defender enough? Does it mean that you get more power while you're in the caravan if you defend enough?
Right.
What exactly is it going to improve? Does it give you, say, when you hit certain levels of time spent defending? Maybe it gives you other parts to build your own caravans. So if you happen to cross a caravan cruising around and you defend it every time you get, then when you go to run one, you get better axles or something. With little spikes on the sides, like the little Roman chariots. Take out attackers just by running them over.
Yeah, I could see that. And Ramiriel says it really speaks to the open world PvP need for a ladder.
Yeah. Speaks to the open world PvP need for a ladder. So, I don't know. I'm not sure in a PvX that there's much really to be proven with an open world ladder. Like, if you mean like tiers like in an arena, I'm not sure if there's really a need for that, if I'll be honest, because at that point it's kind of going to open it up for PvE players to get even stomped on even more, and they're never going to have a chance to do anything PvE related, because they're just going to get hassled until they do fight back, and then they're just going to become another rung on somebody else's ladder to climb up.
Right. I think the important and interesting thing here is to remember there's also a couple of different types of caravans that Intrepid has talked about. There's the personal caravans as well as the mayoral caravans. And I don't know. There's actually, I wanted to bring up this in a little bit more depth from yesterday, and that was Zillin's conversation on, I actually kind of brought this up in our Discord before we went live. And that is, do you think that defenders are at a disadvantage from the most recent caravan stream? In terms of, like, equality?
Do I ever? Yes. Yes, I do think that the defenders are at a disadvantage. And I do believe that the attackers need more of a risk. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me go quiet a pupper.
I got her.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Doggo likes to get hyper when anybody walks around, even like 2 blocks away. She hears him and goes nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so there is one of the pillars of the the game, right? And that's risk versus reward. And I feel that there needs to be a little bit more risk on the line for attackers. And people say one of the most common things you hear is in response to that is that attackers, well, when they become a defender, they have the same worries as a defender does. They have to do the same thing. So then the risk is on their plate. But then you have to define risk, right? What is risk? You take something and you put it up to be lost. They put nothing up to be lost. So
There we go.
Doggo.
Yeah. They asked to see the pupper, so here's the pupper.
They did. That's Cora. She's the sweetest, most loud doggo ever. She likes to yell at her friends. All of them.
Yes. So. But yeah, I think it's interesting because you brought up a good point about, you know, if I am already defending the caravan and I'm bringing it from Miraleth to Winstead, I've already put in all the time and effort to put whatever is in the caravan in there. I've been walking along the road with the caravan. Likely one of us spawned the caravan, so our resources on the line. And the biggest resource that somebody else would have on the line after attacking and then thus needing to defend a new caravan is their own caravan. But that's about it.
Yeah, like in the end, like there's the currently announced details anyway, because they obviously haven't announced everything and talked about every little component of the caravans, right? So what they've discussed is it doesn't have that risk there. It doesn't have that tangible, like, what are you putting on the line? And people say, well, it's reputation. Well, yeah, anybody who's trying to fight anybody else is going to think about reputation, and they probably already thought about it and said, right. I don't care. I'm a bad guy. I'm an aggressor. Okay. And, sorry.
There we go.
Romariel. Who were you again? I know you were not Romariel in the Discord server, but I forget. I know you described it before and put it cryptically. We figured it out, but...
Chaffee says just besides the guilds, people won't do the system if they get burned a couple of times.
Hydrate. But besides guilds, people won't do the system after they get burned a couple of times. You know, it's... You know, there is some balance to it, Chaffee. It was even being discussed in a couple other show channels over the past week, where if you, say, can triple your money with one caravan run, and you only successfully complete half of your caravan runs, you're still profitable. If you complete 1 out of 3, you're making the same money, but you had an adventure. So I could see that, yeah, you're putting on the line, say, 20 hours of your time because you spent a week farming or crafting stuff before trying to take it around. And then, you know, you're gonna end up getting 3 times that if you can complete it once. And yeah, if you complete none, yeah, and see, that's kind of my point when I say that the attackers don't have any risk when you're comparing it to exactly that. If you complete none, then you make no money. But you know, if attackers had something, like if you lose when trying to attack a caravan, you get corruption.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I am so sorry, you guys. In process of the CC Summit, I enabled TGF travelers to see it, but not connect. And then I made it so that, because I was trying to open a space specifically for the CCs to connect into so we could pull them down.
Oh, no.
And I may have left that little tidbit on there afterwards. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Oh no.
It should be open now. So it's either that or general. Both of those should allow you for us to be able to see to bring you in. Are we breaking stuff? No, I'm breaking stuff. I forgot to fix stuff. More like, welcome in though. Also, hello, Nomad.
Womp.
Let's see. Catch up on chat. Ramiro says, everyone wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster things. And I have, I need a gangster play in my head after that. Being a bandit is fine and dandy until an entire node is on your arse 24/7. Absolutely. There's repercussions, right? Mm-hmm. There's a reason why people say that they're not going to, you know, sit in their own backyard. For lack of a better way of putting it. Furian says, you won't see folks running caravan solo. You'll see folks guilds mercs offering an escort for a cut of your caravan. And that's true.
And I saw that, and I wanted to actually respond directly to that one.
Go for it.
Because that feeds directly into my point of attackers don't have as much risk as defenders. Because if you need to bring 20 friends to help protect your caravan, and you only make 3 times the amount of money, I'm not good at math, but I'm going to guess that you lose immediately as soon as you don't make 1. Because after a while, those people aren't going to keep helping you try to run your caravan if you keep failing.
True.
And then Raka says, I think it... oh, did you want to respond to that too?
Go ahead.
Right, Raka says, I think eventually it comes in waves, whether people will go on caravan runs or not. If they deem it safe to do so, they will. If they don't, then they won't.
Yeah.
Pretty accurate, I'd say. Then Dow Nomad might... We just... phrase this as opportunity cost then? Some folks seem to be sensitive to risk for some reason. Chat we were in last night.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And some people just don't want to see the attackers get any additional risk, because if they anger somebody, then somebody might come after their node, but that happens with everything you do. You could exist in a node and have resources and want to gather them right outside your gates, and people will want you to not exist because they want those resources.
Yeah. Excuse me, Red, welcome in, Wizzy, welcome in, Red Bear, welcome in, Thogly. Pockets Art says, as a planned merc, I plan to run my own caravans as well. And then Red Bear says, I feel like it's going to become a once a week thing where everyone just runs one massive caravan. And then Chaffee says, we've seen this in real life. When you invest, you can go into something steady, see a small percentage gain, or you can invest in crypto. Oh my gosh.
Nice. Nice.
But, you know, I think that's where things like the systems, if it's rewarding enough, it is worth it. But, like, I don't know. I wonder what it's going to be like for the attackers. You know, obviously you're getting out with free gold or free whatever, you know, free mats. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, I wonder how the system would reward you, I guess, for successfully completing these caravans over time.
Yeah,
and that kind of... Go ahead.
Just real quick, just to feed off of that, that's the other question I actually had on the highwayman system, on if it gives you points just for participating, or if you have to actually complete the caravan to get like any real score. Like you can get a penny's worth of points by just existing and defending a caravan, but you get like hundreds of dollars worth of points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Curious.
Quirian, I'm gonna mess up your name a little bit, I'm so sorry. Says, I don't think it's gonna be the owner not having people to run with, but if a certain merc group has a history of not being successful, that group will not be hired anymore. Those players in that group will be a negative name on their side. Other side of that as well, the same mercs have friends that are the bandits and purposefully lose. And then Wizzy says, do you mean one singular caravan or one train of caravans in regards to like there being like a once a week thing? And then putting the caravan in caravan wagons west on the Oregon Trail. But that being said, I'll peon you says, professional caravan driver. Would the community be opposed to there being a skill line to give specific buffs to someone who only wanted to be a caravan driver, either for himself and or for hire? Is peon. I'll peon. Like, peon? Like
the guy with the videos?
That kind of orc, you know, peon, and then you.
I think what it's trying to say, it's actually a nobleman speak for I'm going to make you very poor, is what that means.
Anyway, work.
Very uppity language. You might not get it.
For these people, repairs cost less, as he has acquired mechanical skills that could possibly make him move faster on roads due to his vast experience in handling all forms of weather. Harder to kill and battle hardened from all the raids he has been in. And this kind of position would be interesting line as far as the economy, social aspect they're looking for. Another option for merchants to consider when putting together a caravan team to run it. This is something down the road, pun intended, not something to take away from their current development. But yeah. Oh. No. Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood a DM. My bad.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Dal says, I do want to PvP too, but I want people to PvP with. It feels like a valid point that people won't do it if it means losing more time to be the one putting a caravan together. Also, cheers. I thought it was Kyrian. There's a art, it looks like, for me. in the first one, so I keep trying to go Korean. But I keep accidentally say Kyrian as well. Is that?
So Kyrian? Is that how it's supposed to be pronounced? Kyrian? So yeah, Wizzy, I think that's kind of what Kyrian was saying, is that it's not the mercenary groups that would lose, it's the mercenary group's friends who are going to pretend to be bandits to try to increase a success score of the merchant group. Or the mercenary group, not merchant group.
Either that or, mercenaries are friends with the bandits, so then the mercenary lets the bandits win.
Oh no, I have fallen over. We tried our best.
Oh no, Vertex attacking me.
We would never. Everybody knows they can't take you down. Your caravan's safe, it's fine.
We did get another comment on our podcast today on my epic healing skills. Nice. McCree, no! I don't think he'll want that.
The
Calling Kyrian McCree.
Oh no. Oh no. People call you Crayon?
Oh man.
That's terrible.
Oh man.
Alright, but yeah, either way, Kyrian ends up saying, attackers are risking infamy. They will become known in the community as raiders and will be excommunicated from the nodes. That's the risk. Yeah, you get the resources, but where are you going to take those resources when no one likes you? Well, there's this fun thing
far away.
called PvP guilds who focus on PvP. They might actually be all about that PvP life, and there's a valid system in the game called Highwayman that focuses on building skills on both attacking and defending.
Oh my god.
So at that point, I'm thinking there could be guilds out there that are just like, yeah, who cares? I'm in a military node. All they care about is how strong we are, right? We're a military node. That's what we do. I'm going to raid caravans and I'm going to hunt corrupted people as a bounty hunter.
We're going to get to nodes in just a second, but yeah, that's a good point. I think Hydra joined the wrong one, but I see him all the way down in Patron VC, so I'm going to pull him up. Give me a second.
All the way down at the bottom. How did you see that? Holy cow.
How did I see that?
Yeah. You have it you have it maximized?
Don't ask, don't tell.
Oh lordy. But alright,
I sometimes scroll.
So Mad Hatter says, let's see. Well, I'd like to point out the thing Gall made yesterday in Nice's stream. It's not going to be defender's risk versus attacker risk. It'll be attacker risk versus attacker reward. Same with defenders. I'll read the rest, but I already have... Huh? One second.
I'm pulling in a Hydra. I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, okay. Alright, and then
hello there.
Ultimately the defender reward is convenience and money, with the huge risk of losing. Attacker's reward is the caravan itself and the contents, and the risk is the time it took. Know that caravan was running that path and not getting anything. And hello, welcome in. Sorry, I was right in the middle of reading that and I was going to reply right quick here, but what do you think about that? Boom, boom, boom.
It's a good question. I know we've talked about this quite a bit in the Tavern chat. But I keep going back to, I think people keep missing the forest for the trees, in that this entire game is a system of interlocking systems. So while they drip feed us content in the monthly live streams, we still have to keep in the back of our mind, there's all these other interplaying systems that are going to be in place. And I think specifically in relation to the bounty hunter system, at its bare bones, what they've described is it'll be for hunting down corrupted players. But corrupted players have a disadvantage. By the very nature of being corrupted, you're being penalized for your stats. So it gives the bounty hunters quite an advantage. And I think it'd be interesting, and I'm really curious to see if they do anything like this, that what is the end game for a bounty hunter? You don't want to be constantly going after people you have a significant advantage of. You want to go after someone that can really test your skills. So if you lose a caravan, let's say, as the caravan owner, perhaps you have the ability to put out a bounty. You pay out of your pocket, maybe based on how many people attacked or what their level or whatnot. And since the raiders aren't corrupted, they're not penalized. Now you have a true challenge for your bounty hunters. You can really show off your skill and get paid for it.
Yeah.
That's just a thought.
I think that's a good point. I think, I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can go about it, you know? Hello, Kareem. Welcome in. We're doing pretty good, I'd say. We're doing pretty good. I think there's a lot of different ways that this caravan system can go. You know, as I was just responding to Chief Koala, you know, like, while you could potentially have the advantage as the attacking or the defending group because the attackers could choose to engage or not, and you can have a big enough group to defend it, you can also have the advantage as an attacking group, especially if it's somebody who you know is about to have, you know, the caravan launch or whatever, and maybe there's somebody you're intending on targeting and taking down. You know, you have plenty of time to try and grab a group of people. But it's interesting. There's going to be a lot of dynamics that we see get built out of the system, I think.
Something else that I think people have kind of skipped over a little bit is, oh, I can't tell if you guys are talking at the same time. There's a weird delay. I apologize.
Oh, I don't hear Vertec at all, actually.
Oh, apologies. Oh no, I wasn't really talking.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was waiting.
I think
I was
it's just
waiting.
Sorry. So I was going to say that I think people keep forgetting there's an opportunity for opportunistic defenders as well as attackers. And if you're being raided, you're either in your home node or you're in an adjacent node that you have trade relations with. So there's a lot more of a reward for node defenders to jump in than for random people to opportunistically say, yeah, I'm going to attack, because they're more than likely within their own node and they're potentially attacking either a guild member or maybe an ally guild member. So I think we'll see a lot more opportunistic defenders than attackers.
Will the attacking group plan on who gets loot, or is it going to be like a loot pinata? Oh, I guess that's dependent. Go ahead, Vertex, sorry.
But yeah, you would maybe think so, but there's going to be nodes that are trying to travel across maps to get the most money possible out of a single caravan run, right?
That's fair.
So that caravan's going to try to run as far as they can, reasonably take it, and they could, you know, risk losing everything to go, you know, a short while and make like a 10%, 20% increase, or they could risk everything the same amount to go a farther distance. And then there's also going to be PvP people roaming around the land because there's no instance PvE, right? So they're going to be trying to coerce fights out of people in raids and dungeons. And that means they can take a full raid of people who are ready to stomp down another party if need be, or another raid group if need be, just to have their PvP fun. And on the way to raids and world bosses and dungeons, they see a caravan and they just knock it out because it's not in their Metro's ZOI. It's not in their home node ZOI. But because there's going to be, I think the wiki says, last time Steven quoted, it was like 10 to 15 or 15 to 20. 15 was in there and it was a spread of 5. Raid, dungeon, and world bosses combined in the world. Like in the world. So people are going to have to go really far to get to a lot of this stuff. And crossing a lot of land. So if they have a raid group and they just happen across a caravan that's cruising along minding its own business, it's attack. It's not our node.
Right.
That's a very fair point, and I do admit I didn't think about that. But I think it also raises the additional question of, if you are in a raid group heading towards a world boss or going to a dungeon, are you going to potentially jeopardize that by getting into a big fight with the local guilds or the local activity? And maybe you successfully knock over this caravan, you steal their goods and go to the boss, and now you're being shanked from behind by those really pissed off defenders that see their opportunity to get their revenge while you're distracted.
Well,
it also, I think, real quick, would depend on how much you're picking up and if that's divided by a lot of people or not, because again, that will lower the quality of what you get out of it. You would have to have a node that has the black market on it to be able to turn that in if you're going to pick it up yourself. And then on top of that, if you don't spawn your own caravan to take it to the nearest node, wherever that might be, you're then spending that time trying to pull that caravan back to the nearest node and then head over to do whatever raiding.
yeah, see, the other thing to think about is the raid boss up? Is somebody else already there? Are there 7 groups already waiting in line for it? You don't know, because you can't fast travel and the entire group's gonna try and run over at the same time. Is it even up? Did somebody just kill it? Is somebody really about to hit it right now? Yeah, exactly. Like, is there gonna be a line? Like, oh look, they wiped our turn, guys. I'm gonna go use the restroom, hold my place in line. Alright. You know, I'll be right back for this ride. I'm gonna go check the other rides, Dad. Hold my place. So
I imagine they'd probably have some, like, I would say, I'm not a guild leader, but if I were a guild leader or like a person, I'd be like, you go scout out the boss. If there's anything, let us know if anybody's taking the boss down. You go scout out this caravan. Let me know what the caravan's up to, how far it is from which town, etc. I think, like, let me know what the defense is like so that we can better determine, is it more worth our time to just go do the boss if the boss is up, or is it more worth our time to go like raid this caravan?
yeah, and that's the thing, you're gonna need to send out scouts, because I mean, like Chaffee just said, who needs raid gear when you can make 5 dudes on the road mad? I mean, yeah, that's potentially a thing that's gonna happen, but if it's 5 dudes on the road you're making mad, then they obviously didn't have too much. You slayed them without breaking a sweat and you continue. You probably didn't even delay yourself getting to the raid.
True.
But if there's a big thing and you strike it rich and there's a zillion boxes that just hit the ground, you're gonna be really happy you stopped, because the other group already hit the raid and they already took the boss down like an hour ago, and it doesn't spawn again for another 2 hours. Or who knows when who knows when it spawns?
Or
if I could talk.
You activated their trap card and you picked the wrong caravan.
Yeah, at which point you just keep on going. You bulldoze right through it, so whatever. We got some highwayman skills.
And you're hoping they've got resources and not just commodities that you can run away with.
Yeah, a few things. Practice says that's where spies infiltration into other guilds will be great. Who's going after our caravan? When are their caravans going out? When do they plan to do an instance, etc.? Real life communications and intrigue. And then Jamie says caravans were always a PvP event, though. This was never supposed to be PvE content.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
the only thing I would say is the only way it would make it PvE content, and I'm just going to put it this way, is the PvE reward, or I guess the life skill reward that you would get potentially from PvPing. And that is if they have a bunch of life skillers moving stuff along to the next node, and that's mats that you could use to make better gear, better potions, food, etc. Like I could see that paying off in a PvE manner, but not without doing PvP.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is that I'm still not sure people are grasping. Like, it's a PvX game, but it really is a PvP game that also has some PvE content that you could do. Literally everything is based around PvP. Even the raids, which typically are PvE content, they are PvP content.
You know, that is what I think yokai should make as a going at each other topic. Like Ashes is for PvP versus PvE or PvX equally. But I just want to talk real quick about it. This is our first time seeing it. How about that transition from land to water, though?
That was fantastic.
That was pretty nice.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely.
I was blown away when I saw that. I was so shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. You see it slowly breaking down the caravan and building up this like raft thing.
Yeah, so
and then slowly breaking down the raft to then rebuild the caravan. That was so cool.
It was. So, sir, hydrate.
Having the caravan itself integrated into the raft was just chef's kiss.
Yes, agree.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say we talk about it all the time, so I was gonna give you a quick moment to express your thoughts on the audio format there, Hydro.
Hello, support main center.
I think that kind of sums up a lot of it right there. Just
And I was a little surprised with some comments in the community saying, "Oh, they're just ripping off ArcAge. It looks exactly how ArcAge did it." And it does, but also that's literally how ships are launched. Like, I think people really missed out on that little tidbit. Like, this is what it looks like when you launch a ship, especially in the age of sail.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing different is they probably didn't have a raft on top of a giant plank of wood that then drops and slides in. It was probably a little bit more delicate than that. They're not trying to scrape up the bottom of the boat as it's sliding down something big like that. But I could be wrong. I literally haven't seen a boat launch.
Yeah, depending on what kind of boat you're launching, you may literally be rolling on scraped down tree trunks to get into the water.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I need to get Jamie on at some point so we can debate PvP versus PvE content, because Vertec, there's a couple of people saying that Ashes is more like PvE, has more PvE in it than you're saying.
No, they would be incorrect. Outside of crafting, like the life skills are the only thing that's like pure PvE, but even then it's not, because you could go out gathering and you're gonna get slapped in the back of the head with an axe.
Oh my gosh. Should we make a PvP segment?
Yeah. Crafting, you say?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
and
one
honestly,
of the things I'm looking forward to is crafting.
You could be
stuff.
processing on your own freehold and get smacked in the back of the head with an axe. So...
What? Not in your house, though.
I mean, are you going to set up your wool processing station in your living room?
I mean, in Final Fantasy XIV, it was inside your house.
Yeah, they have processing stations outside. Yeah, it's outside the freehold.
I don't know.
Like on the property.
Your whole
I don't think we've actually
protected.
seen that stuff in a live stream yet for processing specifically. So, I don't know.
Crafting, he said from the bushes.
Yeah, I saw that too. Nara says it's 80% VE content.
No, 80% of the existing things in the world when we walk into it. Well, 100% of the things when we walk into it are PvE. They're environment stuff.
Yeah.
I'd go as far as to say they're almost correct, that it's 80% PvE that just happens to be able to become PvP at any moment.
Who says you're always going to be alone in the game, Jamie? I didn't say you'd be alone. I mean, literally, if you're on your freehold, you might be alone.
Quaternian, I remember the Node live stream, but not so much the freehold specifically. So that could just be me misremembering.
I thought you were protected on the entire footprint, but
no.
Your footprint, yeah,
inside
is
your
your
house.
Footprint of your freehold, yeah.
Inside your house, that's it. Literally inside your house, if you lock the door. If you don't lock the door or you're not inside your house, you're fair game.
That's amazing.
Thank you for the stretch, Mad Hatter. That's why it's more integrated in the family and guild systems. Yeah. Big stretch.
Proctis, I keep going back to what Proctis said about the infiltration. And I know this is a real aside, but do you guys think 5 to 7 months out from alpha, let alone how far we are from launch, are people already infiltrating guilds?
I like how you are saying 5 to 7 months out when this has been a discussion since day one. This has been a discussion in the Ashes chat since we started the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that was one of the initial conversations, but that people were having is, oh my gosh, people are going to try and infiltrate guilds because and then just drop any random reason why you'd want to, infiltrate a guild to try to take over the castle thing, get an inside group to sabotage a castle so that another guild can take over and go, oh man, I didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
Anyone who follows EVE Online, there's so many, it's the best game to read about and not actually play. There's so many amazing stories about real world infiltration and people putting hits on people with the Russian mafia and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh,
Rocco says, so we can't have bar fights in Quaternion. Says, now you gotta say, let's take this outside then, Betty.
Take this outside, buddy.
In the bar. I want tavern owners to have the ability to have allow tavern brawls. I feel that. I also would like the ability to ban people potentially from the tavern. Like, you've wronged us, you're banned from this tavern. You're banned from this establishment, sir.
You could have like a tavern brawl parlor game where you have like a fight pit or something like that.
Fight pit! Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of brawls.
Yeah, speaking of brawls.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the comments, just reading through them real quick, there's so many there. I'm so sorry, I'm trying to keep up. Yeah, so a lot of them are saying, like a lot of the things outside of PvP, it can be considered PvE, right? You need that stuff in order to continue the game. You need that stuff in order to get better gear, to be better at PvPing, etc. You would love a kill on site for freehold guards. Ooh, I like that idea. Like, anybody who's corrupted, just KOS.
So that's the thing. So, but with what you're saying, like the 80% or the majority of stuff out there is PvE, right? But what do you call it when you go to a questing area and somebody kills you in the open world because they want to kill that boss instead? Was that PvE content or was that PvP? It was absolutely PvP content right there.
It was PvE until it became PvP.
Yeah, it's PvX,
Jamie
except for the person
PvX.
that didn't X.
But
that's exactly what I mean. It's PvX, but in reality, the PvP is the dominating force in the game.
Hazel won the champion of the hill. Woo!
What'd you win with? What'd you win with? Sorry, I was trying to find what you won with there.
I didn't
Tell me
see
it was
it
the
either.
Donut or the plunger? It has to be one of those two.
Donut.
But yeah, sorry, you were saying
what's the
PvX
donut?
until somebody doesn't something or other.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the feeling that I get from it is it's basically that it's the world has PvE content, but it's to fill the gaps between the PvE occurrences. Because you could remove PvE from the game and you'd never notice. Is what it looks like.
I kind of want to talk about this node thing. Because in terms of PvE and PvX, actually Chaffee wrote something in our Discord forum section on nodes and guilds. And I feel like this is a good tie-in for PvE versus PvX and PvE stuff in general. And the conversation went something along these lines. Do you think most guilds will make it a requirement to be in a specific node? I think this topic will have different opinions, and here's why. Guild leaders will surely be interested in wanting to create a metropolis. As a player, what are you willing to sacrifice to room with a guild? Maybe you prefer PvE and want to be in a divine node or an artisan with different crafts that the node provides. Perhaps you're into a pyrite architecture, but it's a Renkai node. And this is a great question, because I mentioned this to Zara. I was like, what is the likelihood of you allowing somebody to be living in a vassal node? What if the vassal node is a better situation for me than the primary node that the guild is a patron of? Am I required then, if a guild is a patron node of a certain node, or patron guild, the guild is a patron guild of a certain node, am I then required to live in that node? Or am I allowed to freely live in a vassal node that's nearby and still partake, but reap the benefits of a node that would better benefit me?
That's
Yeah.
what you think?
Yeah, this is from Chaffee. Yeah.
Very well thought out, Chappie.
Yep, I agree. And I can read some of the comments, although I did see, Hydra, that you commented in there. So did you want to elaborate on your thought?
I couldn't even tell you what I wrote.
That's fine. It was a little while ago. You said, I imagine small guilds will stick to one node or two adjacent nodes. I think many guilds will have multiple node presences, but most likely they'll be next to each other or form a trade route.
Yeah, I think as we see natural trade routes develop, as nodes develop, that's because you're not going to ever probably be able to really have a 100% of your guild presence in one node. You're going to be fighting against the other guild presences and whatnot. So you're going to have to split up somewhat. And I think it makes sense to focus on your primary trade routes. If for no other reason than if one of your guild caravans gets hit in that node,
Right.
You've got some fresh defenders ideally on hand to jump in. But it's a complicated subject. What do you guys think?
It is. Vertec, what is your thoughts?
Sorry, I was typing something up to you. You go ahead.
All good. I already had my answer on it. But I can read through some of the responses. So Basil ended up responding saying, I would think so because in game a node alliance is like greater than a guild. So if your guild attacks your node, you would have to fight them. Mad Hatter says, I can already tell you yes, as mine does plan to level a specific node first, though I don't think I'm at liberty to say which one it's based on the certain benefits it allows. And that's fair. Like there's some of you guys out there, you already know what you're going to be going into for a node type, right? But then there's other guilds who we've talked to who they're like, I don't know. It depends on what the cards we get are dealt, you know?
Yeah. As a famous man once said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I think probably most guilds are like, yeah, we're going to be a metropolis. We're going to be above everyone else. And with such a complex game, people are going to have to figure out how to play the cards they're dealt and adjust on the fly.
Yeah. All right, Chaffee, join us. Let me. Where are you? Let me pull you in.
Jeffy.
More of a soft cap. Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, we do have ads. I apologize. It's sending off the pre-roll, as one might say. But
I know we've had a live stream for the node, but it was kind of super basic, right? That was one of the earlier live streams. I think we're probably due for something a lot more juicy. Show us some of these interlocking systems at work. Give us an idea of what we're really in for.
yeah.
Ashes of Nair's got some really good points in the chat too about it's going to be expensive. The best nodes, even vassal nodes, if they're a good enough place to live, it's going to be highly competitive to probably even get an apartment by that point once it's already built up.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just confirming the you guys should be able to connect to that, so I'm just waiting to see. It's either that or general. Y'all can join into it, and I'll be down if I see you. But yeah, I think honestly, it's one of those things where, it really depends. Also, welcome back, Red Bear. It also depends exactly who gains mayorship and what they set the taxes at. I was gonna say it also depends on what the mayor chooses for that node, right? Things like that. So it's one of those, like, there's so many things up in the air. You don't know, honestly.
One of the most exciting things, I think, and I think most people can vibe with this, I'm going to try to put it into words, is that with such an ambitious game, the sheer number of systems and the levels of the systems at play, we're going to see a lot of real world social economic aspects at play. We're going to see real world small squad combat tactics at play. Yep. We're going to see strategy. We're going to see tactics. it's going to be great. Like, we're going to have a game here, hopefully soon, that people will write theses on, where people will study how this game plays, how the players interact with each other across these systems, just like the Corrupted Blood incident with World of Warcraft.
Right, that's fair. I'm going to go ahead and bring Chaffee in. Hey, Chaffee, what's up?
Hey.
Hello.
You want to come answer your own question?
I do. I got a really hot take on this.
Let's hear it.
So it kind of goes on everybody thinks that nobody's going to mess with anybody around each other's zone of influence.
Right.
I think it is quite the opposite. I think when this game first comes out, you're going to have people that don't know what they're doing in this game. So that's going to kind of play into things, which that'll sort itself out eventually. But I think you also have most of your rivalries, I think, are going to come from who lives next to you.
True.
Specifically because everyone's racing for Metropolis. So the strategy...
Most everyone.
Yeah, I mean... But that's the game, right? We're trying to build up your node. If you specifically live in a node, you want it to get as high as it can. You reap the most benefits from being in the highest level node. So I think a lot of strategies, and people are going to kind of handicap themselves, is you're going to see a lot of a caravan. Well, as soon as a caravan leaves this spot, destroy it, get it out of the way. We don't want them leveling up. We don't want them getting materials.
Right.
And I think that's what you're going to see. So I think most guilds are going to want to require you to live in node, unfortunately.
Vertic, what's your thoughts? Because you ended up responding to this thread as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty heavily leaning towards guilds are going to want all their members in one area. If nothing else for the patron guild thing.
I don't know. I still think that there's a justifiable reason to be a part of a vassal node instead of the parent node that the guild is part of.
But is there? If there's a metropolis and it's leading the pack in the area, and your guild is currently or very near becoming a patron guild, there's apparently a lot of bonuses for that. So,
right, but let's put it this way. Let's look at it from this other direction, right? So you have your takes, which is yes, absolutely be a part of the patron guild node that your guild's going to try and become a patron of. But what if I'm best serving the guild by being a part of a vassal node that more easily, better, not more better. I'm using your word now. More better suits your artisanship class, because again, maybe that means that I'm able to make those higher things, especially as a processing. And also D4, thank you so much. 5 months already. Wow, thank you. Cheers.
Hello, and thank you. Well, see, then how about we look at the difference between living in and spending your time in? Because you can rent an apartment or live in an inn or a tavern 3 nodes away, so you're in a level 1 node. Or level 3, rather. This first one you can rent a thing, right? And then spend all your time in the metropolis.
As a processor, I would spend all of my time wherever I can process what I need to process.
Which is probably going to be a guild-funded freehold, because not many people are going to be able to do it on their own.
If you get that, yes.
And there's a hard limit, right, for those freehold nodes, how many people
1 per character. And then there's X amount of family members that you can have a part of that too. Yes.
I meant the how many people. Let's say you got a freehold that has 4 processing stations. I believe there's a limit on each station how many people can have processing going on at the same time. Is that right?
I don't want to say yes or no. I'd have to go look that up.
So
I think the
Wolf brought up what I was gonna suggest is the B that happens in the scenario. If everyone isn't at each other's throats, you then will have 3 or 4 guilds that are all in a pot together that just take over the entire zone of influence. And then it's hey, anytime you see this guild running a caravan, you protect them. And that will be probably the nodes that succeed. Exactly.
Right.
Then they don't care, right? They're just live anywhere in the cluster. We're all friends here. That's
Right.
Probably the way to go.
I also like what Viral, because Viral's bringing up a good point that I'm trying to also make, like, kind of to the side step, is not all guild members will be able to afford a house in a higher level node.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, mutual protection and or destruction.
You'll have a commute. That's for sure. You live in the suburbs, commute to, like Vartex said, you want to go to the metropolises for the extra services and whatnot.
Yeah, Mad Hatter says there isn't a limit, but there is a queue on the freehold processing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to, is that you can only do like one at a time doing it, because it was going to be the processor in a node, like in the actual city, is going to end up being instanced for each person. So everyone's going to see their own processor doing their thing, and when they stop doing their thing, your stuff is done, specifically your stuff. But the one on the freehold is going to be animated just when anybody's stuff is processing.
Yeah.
So a soft
exactly. Galwood says, so more likely a guild would care about your citizenship, since then you are participating in that election. I mean, yes and no. Let's look at it this way. What if you're part of a small guild that is a part of a node that has bigger guilds on it as well? So the likelihood of your guild getting a mayorship is less when you're looking at the competing guilds and or people that are playing on that specific node. And you know, that there's a lot there. Like, there's a lot of what ifs, right? There's a lot of what ifs.
Also depends. That also depends on a node, because you could also be in a node that doesn't have that type of election where votes count for anything. You know, it could be a military node, could be economic, and it's just more money.
True.
Yeah, Galwood has it on point. Like, why would a small guild care? Small guild wouldn't really.
Yeah,
they'd be probably far less care about with them.
That's also kind of the point that I'm making. You know, is that a smaller guild may not care as much. So then, like, I mean, you might become one of the patron guilds, because I believe there's like up to 3 when you get to Metropolis. But but that's not going to be like, I'm going to be a mayor level, you know?
Yeah. Alrighty, so yeah, we in case you didn't see the message, we need to start getting ready to wrap up and head on over to LoreForged.
Are they live yet? I didn't even get that notification.
Yep, yeah, they're live, and I just got the message saying that they're ready for us.
I hate to cut this one short, but we will actually be over with Cash, Jibs, and Sunny as soon as we skedaddle on out of here. So you guys will see us over at the Sleepy Owl, and decided to chat over there for a little bit.
All right. Well, you folks have yourselves a dandy day, and we will catch you around in the next, say, 5 minutes. I think we're going to take this up, 5 or 10, something like that.
I'll go ahead and get us properly going to LoreForged HQ.
Beautiful.
And we shall see. Oh, thank you, Dal.
See you over there.
Welcome in, Golden.
Bye.
Cheers to the sub.